Darc, this story will begin with a man named Darc who every night is always faithfully waiting for his mother to finish serving her customers. It is known that his mother works as a prostitute, and Darc always takes care of his mother's safety from temperamental customers. Until one night, he heard the screams of the mother who was being tortured by her customers, which suddenly made Darc break into his mother's room. However, Darc's arrival made his mother's customers even more angry and brutally beat the mother and child, resulting in his mother dying that night. Several years pass, and Darc, who is now grown up, will be released from prison. But it turns out that Darc's freedom is not free or just, where he is required to carry out a mission from an Interpol named Lafique, who is indeed thanks to him that Darc can be freed from the rigors of prison. Lafique himself asked him to work together to free his daughter, who was held by a group of Yakuza. At first, Darc refused, and he wondered why Lafique needed his help when Interpol had many agents who could easily free his daughter. Because he continued to refuse, Lafique then threatened him, saying that if he did not want to obey his orders, then he would put him back in prison. But Darc still ignored this.
You know, I got you an early release. I'll put you right the fuck back. Fuck.
Darc then met up with a group of drug dealers who had betrayed him earlier. The battle was fierce, but it wasn't hard for Darc to kill them all and take the money they had. With the money he got, he then rented an apartment. He finally had a place to live and was about to relax while taking his medicine. But suddenly he heard a commotion outside the room. Apparently, a beautiful woman who was Darc's neighbor fell, and her belongings were in a mess. In the end, Darc helped a woman named Ivy and helped carry her belongings to the apartment before they got to know each other.
Thank you.
On the other hand, Lafique's efforts to recruit Darc were apparently not over. When Darc was having dinner, Lafique returned to him to express her love for her daughter, hoping that this heart-to-heart conversation would melt Darc into helping her. Lafique eventually reveals that her daughter's kidnappers are the same people who killed Darc's mother in the past, so she asks him to join the mission for revenge. The scene moves to a flashback when Darc's mother is tortured by a male Yakuza member named Toshio Kageyama. Eventually, Darc's mother is killed by the leader of a Yakuza gang named Ginzo Kageyama. The Yakuza did not know Darc was hiding under a trash can and saw the incident when his mother was killed. Flashbacks to his mother's death finally made Darc agree to join Lafique's mission to defeat the Yakuza. The next night, Lafique watched a group of motorcycles gang up on a man. The man is Shigeru Kageyama, Toshio Kageyama's son.
Wait, relax, all right? You know who the fuck I am?
Just as Shigeru's situation is getting worse and he's on the verge of being defeated, Darc appears to save him and then kills off the biker gang members.
Who the fuck are you, asshole? You're a big...
After surviving death, Shigeru was so grateful and thought he owed Darc his life that he invited him to eat and drink together. While eating together, he offers Darc to join him as a Yakuza, which he immediately accepts, especially when Shigeru says he doesn't have to worry about payment.
We haven't discussed payment.
Don't worry about that. Yeah? Right. What were you in for?
The day passed, and Darc was working out in the apartment when Ivy suddenly came with some food. But while Darc is eating with Ivy, he gets a call from Shigeru asking him to meet him.
Hey. Nice to meet you.
I'd like that.
He finally urges Ivy to leave the apartment, and he goes to Shigeru, who apparently invites him to attack a motorcycle gang. A heated battle ensued, even though Darc was again victorious and killed the motorcycle gang members. After the victory, Shigeru takes Darc to the Yakuza office to meet his father, Toshio, who introduces himself using his real name, Jake Walters. At first, Toshio did not believe in Darc and refused to make him part of the Yakuza, but Shigeru continued to convince him until finally, he accepted Darc.
あいつはマジですげえやつなんだよ。
To celebrate Darc officially joining the Yakuza, Shigeru takes him to a nightclub where Darc meets his childhood girlfriend, Lisa Ito. Before Darc could greet Lisa, several men came to attack him. Another fight ensues where he faces a group of Toshio's dragon-level Yakuza men to test his worth.
Shit. You okay, man?
You caused a great deal of damage to my...
That night, when Darc returned to the apartment, Lisa had apparently followed him. His childhood girlfriend intended to chat with him and, at the same time, relieve their longing after not seeing each other for a long time. When Lisa was going home, Darc intended to give her money because he knew her job and remembered her own mother, who never had money. She finally goes and thanks Darc by giving him a kiss.
I need to get some rest.
The scene changes to the next day when one of Toshio's men comes to meet Lafique to ask for information about Darc. At the same time, Shigeru and Darc will attack a Chinese gang that is considered a threat to the Yakuza gang's business territory. They attacked the Chinese gang's headquarters and killed all the members.
Time to visit Lee at the triple.
Relax, ladies. I don't kill women.
Come on, arms.
Where the fuck is Lee?
On the other hand, Lafique apparently gave Darc's personal data information to Toshio's men. There is no information about Darc's childhood history in his personal data. Darc's revenge begins when one night, he secretly sneaks into Toshio's house and kills his men. Finally, he managed to get into the main room and knock out Toshio with 2 shots in the leg. Seeing Toshio unable to fight back, Darc finally reveals his true identity and threatens to kill him unless he informs him of the whereabouts of Lafique's daughter, named Renee. But instead of obeying Darc's request, Toshio mentions his mother and even insults her. Darc's anger flared up, making him mindlessly kill Toshio the same way he killed his mother.
Tell me where Renee Lafique is.
We'd never hide her.
Unbeknownst to Darc, there was not only Toshio in the room, but Lisa, who was in the bathroom at that time. Seeing Toshio dead, Lisa pleads with Darc to beat her unconscious so that she is not suspected of being involved in Toshio's death. The scene shifts to the Yakuza members hunting for Darc after receiving information from Lafique. In the end, they manage to catch Darc and interrogate him. A Yakuza member, Kanji, beats him up and nearly kills him before Shigeru arrives. Then Shigeru and Kanji went to meet the head of the Yakuza, Ginzo, who was none other than Shigeru's grandfather, who ordered them to immediately investigate the death of Toshio. On the other hand, Ivy saw Darc, who came home to the apartment in serious condition and finally treated his wounds. She watches over and accompanies him all night before he finally realizes that she isn't safe with him. Sure enough, Ginzo had got all of Darc's information, including his childhood history. When the information was conveyed to Shigeru, Shigeru was very surprised because he had already trusted Darc. At the same time, Lafitte tries to contact Darc while driving to the harbor after receiving information that Renee is about to be killed. Arriving at the port, Lafitte sees Renee hanging and trying to defeat the Yakuza alone, which ends in defeat. Fortunately, Darc came and immediately beat the Yakuza and then saved Renee. But when Darc managed to lower the woman and removed her headgear, she was not Renee, but Lisa. Darc tells Lisa to leave while at his apartment. Shigeru is looking to kill him, but he comes face to face with Ivy. Shigeru beats Ivy to make her talk until Darc finally returns to the apartment and fights again to save her. Unfortunately, Shigeru was faster and managed to take Ivy hostage. He made Darc kneel down while threatening to kill her. Eventually, Darc knelt down and was caught, even though Shigeru still killed Ivy at the time. Shigeru takes Darc to the Yakuza headquarters to confront Ginzo and beats him in front of his grandfather. After interrogating Darc, Ginzo orders Shigeru to kill him. Shigeru takes Darc out to kill him, which is when Darc crosses paths with Renee, who is being taken to another place as well. Darc begins to fight back in the car until he manages to escape after killing Shigeru.
Please!
After that, he intends to return to the Yakuza headquarters to attack Ginzo. At the Yakuza headquarters, Ginzo knows that Darc has escaped and is going his place. He then prepared the members to get ready to fight him. Although still, when Darc came to the headquarters, he managed to kill the Yakuza members before getting into Ginzo's room to confront him. Apparently, Ginzo held Renee hostage in his room until finally, Darc couldn't put up much resistance. Even Ginzo asks Darc to stab himself with a knife if he doesn't want Renee to die. In the end, Darc actually stabbed himself in front of Renee. Ginzo was satisfied to see him lying helpless and about to shoot him to death when Darc suddenly managed to get up and stab him in the neck. Despite defeating Ginzo, Darc bleeds profusely from his stab wound and falls unconscious. Fortunately, Renee was quick to provide first aid before taking him to the hospital so that his life could be saved.